Hello Federica, it's very nice to meet you, and I'm a big fan of your beautiful exhibition, COSMOGONIES, that you opened on the 9th of January 2020 in A-Gallery. So I have some questions to get to know you better, or to understand the works perhaps better, because text of your exhibition is very philosophical and it's very interesting. But perhaps before we reach to the philosophy and the techniques and your works, perhaps let's start from the very beginning. Like, how do we understand who are you? How do you identify yourself?
Okay, my background it's in fine art and mostly like in drawing and printmaking. And then I started the master here in Estonia, in EKA, in the Jewelry and Blacksmithing department. And
But where did you study the fine arts?
I studied in Rome, in the Academy of Arts in Rome. Yeah, and my aim is to translate my style, my language, so the graphic one into a material based one. So my sign, my marks, my way of drawing into the metal work. So also during my master I focus in the working with metal, and during the process, the process started from a graphic approach, and I reached a material-based one. And so what's really important for me is the process, because then the piece, the work is just one moment. So. And also all the process is really meditative, because I start also to make my own tool, so the punches, and then I use them to create the texture in another punch in another tool, and then I use this tool to press it on my pieces. So it's kind of the same process, same of printmaking process, but instead of using paper, then I press it on the metal.
But why metal? Why not wood, or why not plastic, or why not ceramics? More perhaps more ease, or glass? Glass. You use glass actually. You have one piece.
Glass, yes.
But why did you choose the material? What is the connection of the material?
It's more the feeling that I got from the material. I really like to work with the different materials actually, but before, when I done my bachelor, I didn't have the possibility to work with metal, and I was always attracted by the metal, because also to work with it, I don't know, there is the fire, and then you have to melt it, and then from there you can create, I don't know, the plate, the wire, and then using different tools. So I don't know, I was just
more wild.
Yeah. And I always, I don't know, also working with fire, and I don't know, it creates this. I just like the feeling that I have with the material, and also different metals also gives you a different feeling, because sometimes you can work cold, and other time you need to heat it up, so just work hot, and also forging, and also on my pieces I press it, but then I also hammer them. So also the hammering part is really I don't know, meditative, and you see how
lots of sounds, music.
And yes, also a lot of rhythm. Yeah, it's really rhythmic, and also you really see how it changed the material while forging and working with it.
Can I say that you are a very fragile girl? So you use big tools to give the big energy inside. It's very contrasting. But can I as well say, conclude somehow that, if I understand you correctly, first you did 5 years of graphics?
Yeah, it was more like a graphic.
And then you were finding a way how to be minimal but three-dimensional. You were, till that point, you were two-dimensional, and then you were searching what would be the most minimal way to give the drawing another dimension.
Yeah, exactly, because also my drawing, like I always create this kind of volumes or like the atmospheres, like, I don't know, rarefaction.
How long do you do one of the drawings? They are really amazing.
They took quite a lot of time because it just...
did you use as a...
Usually just like ink or graphite on paper.
Okay. So you were using less tools, you used only one tool?
Yeah, maybe different kind of like ink pen, or also this ink stilo that you like have the ink, like the metal point, that then you draw it. And but they take quite a lot of time because it's also in the metal pieces, like all these small marks then create the texture, and then this texture gives kind of three-dimensional feeling, or like create some volumes.
What do you think about this? I've heard lots of jurors said, including me, that I never chose that that area, métier. Like if I wouldn't, if I would knew that it would need so much patience. But now you do, like in the jewelry you need lots of patience. This is what it connects with your graphics, and I understood you did very wrong. But can you go back in your time, from the very beginning? What is your first memories that you understood that you're good in arts or conceptual, or that you did something very long and you had the patience? Do you have some kind of memories, or is it your family who is connected to art? So where did the interest come? Why not astrology? Because your themes are very related with the nature.
I don't know, maybe it was just the way how to express myself, or like how to communicate. So, and I really enjoy the time that I spent like with the pieces, like while doing the pieces. So as I said before, for me it's even more important the process, because then it's like it's kind of a chemical also process, like with the material. So also the material, like you need some knowledge to work with the material, but then also it's a kind of exchange. So like also you get inspired from the material, and then also working with different material, then it's like wandering around, but at the same time then you find your own path. So for me was I don't know, maybe just way how I like to communicate and exchange also feelings with I don't know, the person who...
I mean, like, do you have a memory when you were the youngest? When did you start doing it? Was it sudden decisions in the end of the school that I want to do graphics?
It was since when I was kid, I really like to drawing, or I don't know, I loved also the color. So even if my drawings, they're more like black and white now, but in the metal pieces now also there is again a bit of the colors coming back. So I was just attracted by this. I cannot say like exactly why. It was just something that always took my attention, and also the feeling why, I don't know, I was going to see some exhibition, then it's, I don't know, the emotion that it creates and what left me.
And so you have some kind of a good memory of a good exhibition in your childhood?
I can't like just pick up one, but it's just in general, like the feeling that I have when it's a really good exhibition, then it's really, I don't know, also satisfying, or like make you reflect, or like asking more questions. So I always like this. So then maybe it was my way to start to share also.
What do you think about so they're like the reflections, what gives you the images, what you start creating? Yes, like you start to think about something, and then you have the pictures. Where comes the inspiration? Where comes the ideas? Where come the pictures? What you will finally create?
It's more about the feelings that I want to communicate, because usually they are like abstract, so it's not like realistic drawings, or so it's more a kind of feeling that I want to communicate.
That's actually my next question. Do you need emotions to create, or can you do creation without the emotions?
I think it's not really possible not to have emotion at all. I mean, of course, like in the Eastern philosophy that I also like really studied a lot. Then because like everything started also with this I don't know, interest on the void. So then I started also to read and about some more Oriental and Eastern philosophies, and they're like the practice actually. It's a kind of like, because when you meditate, like then you can just get away from the emotion and arrive in a state that how can I explain? Explain that.
I was thinking that meditation is without emotions, but you say like
it's like then it's, I mean, you reach maybe this state that it's without emotion, because like during the process then you concentrate on the movement, on the breathing. It's like rhythmic. So at one point it's more like this rhythm, this so maybe it's not thinking about something really specific. But then at the end, for me, like the piece or the drawing, it gives some kind of emotion. I mean, this is also what the other people told me. So for me, it's also interesting to I don't know what the piece or the drawing or like the work communicate to the other people.
Do you have a good suggestion what to read in the Eastern meditative authors, or what they talk to you the most, the best? Do you have some suggestions?
What I read that was like important for me to start to understand was like the aesthetic of the void, but it's from like an Italian author, Gian Giorgio Pasqualotto, and then it's all about the Buddhism, and but this is just something like, let's say, beside. So because I also like grown up in a Western like
so
culture.
You are religiously you're Christian?
Like, since I'm from Italy and like my family is Christian, but it's not like my work. Yeah, it's not related with that. So for me, like also like reading or learning about the Eastern philosophy was not really about the religion, but more about the philosophy of life, or
Okay, very nice. As well, how is your works then related to the nature? How did you find? How did it come to you, the need of to do like these emotions, as you said, to put them as into the cosmogonic view? and now you started to do it like first you made your drawings. You already have the philosophy of the cosmogony, but you perhaps you talk about it. Talk like why you needed to retranslate it into the metal. Like why do you think you have the need to do it? You experiment with the theme, you go deeper and deeper. Is it something that you still are looking for the answers in that theme? Or is it something that you, because you say you're looking your own ways of communicating somehow? Or how do you?
For me actually, when I create something or like, yeah, I'm not really looking for an answer. It's more like I like to go like deeper and deeper and deeper, but it's also like maybe my way of being. Also like all my works are like really detailed, and they take a lot of time to make them. So it's more maybe my way I like also, and also in the installation that it's maybe a bit dark, because I like that you have to look like for the piece and in a way like spend time with the piece. So I like that there is this kind of intimacy maybe with the work.
Perhaps it's,
and
yeah. I'm sorry.
And what I wanted to say.
The intimacy of the work.
Yeah, no, but before you ask me about right, now I lost it.
Well, like I was asking, like if you were looking for the answers.
That I wanted to say that I'm not really looking for the answer, but I always hope to actually like create more questions. So like that if you look at the work, then it communicate to you something, and maybe start to I don't know, make some like thoughts or like more question or exhibition is Cosmogonies, and my idea was to create like a new cosmogony, and that it's like all the pieces, like each piece is like a different cosmogony, that it's like cosmogony means like the beginning of the universe, but like the myth or some legend about the beginning of the universe. And but the idea was like that every piece is important to create this installation, so it's like many microcosm in a bigger macrocosm. And I decided to install it in like also dark space, because I wanted to play with this light and darkness, because also in the like in my pieces I always try to find balance between opposite, and also because like it create these atmospheres that then you have to go and look for the pieces in the space, and yeah, and it creates more like intimacy, and you have to spend time with the works. And every piece it's made using like my self-made tools, where I create the texture, and this texture is created by a small signs, small marks that create some kind of atmospheres like condensation and rarefaction, and they look a bit like some parts or like from the cosmos. So that, and also that started from my interest into the void. So it's kind of related maybe aesthetically or also like conceptually with the void. So this also black holes, or like, I don't know, the pieces can look like planets or
It does look something in a bit of something calm and a bit entropy as well. Like you don't understand where goes the rhythmics, but they have their own system.
Yes.
But okay, thank you. Dreams. Do you dream? Do you think they're important?
I think they are. They are because I don't know. At least I can't live without dreams because they are important also for your future, or like gives you in a way some positive hope maybe, and they help like to continue.
Do you know where you want to be in one day, in 20 years? So what do you want your works to be doing with the public, or how to? What are these dreams secret?
Like I think the bigger dream maybe is to be able to have the possibility to continue what I love to do and I'm passionate to. So like to continue to do my works and.
So you couldn't live without creation.
Yeah, I think it's important part of my life and myself. I'm really passionate. I work hard and I hope I can have the opportunities to continue that. Yeah.
That's nice. And what are your like future plans? Now you have the exhibition here. Do you have what else you're gonna do? You said you're gonna go to Sweden. What you do there?
Yeah, in 10 days I'm gonna go to Sweden, and there I'm gonna do it's called metal art course. That I have the possibility to use all the workshops in the school. That it's HDK Staneby. And I can develop more my research, my project.
So this is residency.
Good. It's more residency than a course, but it's good because it's an opportunity to continue my works and deepen it, and
that's nice.
And maybe use also some other machineries and tools. So it's always good to learn something new.
Okay, cool. So now we have arrived to your exhibition room. You have your installation. Please tell me about how have you created them. You said about some of the pieces are punched and some of the pieces are somehow electro-etched, and then you have created your own punches?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, for me it's really important to make my own tools and then use them to create my pieces. So I started from the very beginning, so I made my own punches that then I used I pressed them, like I used them to create the texture on another like tool. And then sometimes I just use the punches, and for some other pieces I mixed the two techniques with punches and electro-etching.
So I understood, like first when I talked, and I misunderstood actually. You didn't do the punches to hammer, but you did the punches to hammer on another tool that you use with a big press.
Yes, exactly. So then this other tool where I have the texture, I use this tool to press the pieces. It's really similar to the printmaking process. That it's my like background, because in the printmaking process you have the metal plate, then you engrave it or like do etching, so you create the drawings or the texture, and then you use the plate to press it on the paper. So I'm doing like the same process, but instead of using the paper at the end I'm using the metal plate, metal pieces. And then most of them are also after I press them.
Can you show closely with the point on a place where the punch, you can see the difference of the punches?
Yeah, like here, for example, I use this punch that it's like a drop or a comma, and this piece is just made out using the punch, so without electro etching.
Okay.
But then, for example, in this other piece, you can see that there are the punches, so this more like rectangular shape, and then the finer lines are made with electro etching.
So you covered it with some kind of lacquer and then scratched it out?
Yes, like, but not the piece, the tool.
Yeah. Oh.
So because it just by using the tool, then on my pieces I can have the relief print. So all the prints are on relief.
But how many punches altogether you made like this?
I think for these pieces I used just 2 different punches. And then I have some other pieces that I use more punches. But for these are more like 2 different punches plus electro etching.
Okay.
And then there are also pieces like, for example, this one.
They're really hidden here in the cosmos.
And this one is like pressed just to create the shape. And then it's engraved, or like I scratch to create the texture. So the texture in this case is not pressed.
So it's very unique and engraved.
And like on this piece or in some other, what you see, like these marks are made by the hammer. So all the pieces are like pressed, and also I work with a hammer afterwards to create more like texture and to give different volumes or shape.
And the color, what about the colors?
And the colors, different colors came by the heat, by heating up the pieces, because they are made out of steel. So the steel changed the color with different temperatures.
And are they wearable pieces?
Yeah, most of them are jewelry pieces actually. So I made the brooches and a couple of pendants, and 4 of them are objects.
Okay, they're super beautiful.
And the back of the pieces, the jewelry pieces, are made out of oxidized silver.
Okay.